Hi, everybody. I'm Francisco Grijalva. I'm new to your guys' class, so I'm a little bit behind, hence this format. One other thing, too, is I'm living with a writing disability, so this is an easier format for me to express my form, or this is the best form of communication for me. I'm here to answer the three questions for the forums. First question, introduce yourself. That's what I already did. What do I intend to do with my education? So I just got my bachelor's degree in social work. I'm entering the master's program for social work. And what do I intend to do is I don't have a specific direction, but mainly I want to work with disadvantaged youth, primarily in substance abuse and houselessness. I've already done a practicum site with Halikipa for a youth outreach program where we practice the main modality or tool that we use there is motivational interviewing, which is actually, once I was doing the reading, very similar to mediating. But I digress. And one thing I would like to know, I would like you guys to know is I am a recovering addict and I am deep into my sobriety. And it's something that I take with me in everything I do, including social work. I think it's an important thing to practice warmth, empathy, and genuineness. And that's the genuineness part, WEGS, social work stuff. Another thing is, because I'm in the social work field, this is more like legislation or law. And I'm a little intimidated by it. I'm not going to lie, but I intimidated in a good way, meaning I really want to learn and I can't wait to really dive in. Okay, thank you. Two, after completing the reading for this week, explain and understand the benefits of using alternative dispute resolution, ADR, over more traditional process of legislation to resolve disputes. So the way I understood ADR and in particular, what was it called? Adjournment and mediating is ADR, or in adjournment in particular, it's cost effective and it saves time. So if I'm going towards, like, let's say a divorce and I don't want to pay my lawyer fees and my spouse or my soon-to-be ex-spouse doesn't want to pay the same amount of lawyer fees because we have children. And, that money is being pulled into the lawyers when we can go and spend it on their college fund for the future, for instance. You can use an adjournment or a mediator to get the divorce done or to go into proceedings that will help you to come to a conclusion instead of the more lengthier process. The only disadvantage is that you can't appeal it. So that's what my understanding is between legislation and ADR. It's how I considered it. It's mini court. Let me know if I'm completely wrong on that. Three, after reviewing the mediation overview PowerPoint, discuss and compare the roles of mediation to the role of arbitration. State three specific differences between the two roles and the advantages and disadvantages for each. So I took down a couple notes and I said, so one is it's very clear cut. It's power dynamics. Arbitration, final decision on the dispute. And because in arbitration you can't appeal things, it's like kind of the final word. Where in mediation, I thought that was great. The mediator is the bridge of communication between the two parties. I thought that was amazing. The mediator is more geared towards conflict resolution, where in an adjournment it's actually very confrontational. In adjournment, there's going to be a situation where you're going to put your evidence out and plead your case. So your mind is geared towards winning, and it's combative. Where the mediator, it's a situation that you're there to listen to the situation, see what can be resolved, and come to a compromise. So it's more what I wrote down: open minds, open hearts. Kind of the subtleties of the mediator to the adjournment is in the adjournment, it might be an expert that is particularly advanced in that particular area of the topic point, a lawyer or a judge. where a mediator is a third neutral party, that even if they have knowledge of the particular subject, they abstain from that. They are completely and try to be, I don't know if they'll ever be completely unbiased, but try to be unbiased and uninfluential. And they try to reflect the issues and the differences and the similarities and what the parties kind of understand together, and try to come out with maybe ideas of how to resolve the conflict, but not trying to influence the decisions. Basically, the agency is, when it comes to being a mediator, the agency is with the two clients that are fighting or disputing. Where, in the other hand, the agency is with the adjournment, the judge, the lawyer, or the expert, whatever the case may be. The thing I loved about mediation is that it's very similar to motivational interviewing. In motivational interviewing, you practice, it's basically open-ended questions, reflecting back, and identifying what the client needs are to them. So it's two concepts. It's cognitive behavioral therapy mixed in Carl Rogers' person-based approach. That's how motivational interviewing was put together. I find this very fascinating, that mediation is very similar. And then the third thing I wrote down right here. Oh, okay. So the third part is that there's no appeal process in the adjournment. And I was like, man, I don't have a point of reference. I'm in social work, so I've never done anything. I don't really even know court proceedings. So I started looking, and I found apparently Judge Judy is an adjournment court. And Judge Judy is a retired Manhattan family court judge. So that was a great example for my mind to understand how the proceedings go and how they're more structured. It's just more structured towards a court system. I call it mini court, where a mediation is kind of like talking story. Yeah, on the resources, there's the Hawaiian mediation where it shows the triangle, and then the other triangle for how to create a full diamond. I thought it was really good to process my information of the steps that you take to create a open-ended questions and to create connection points from one person to another person through the mediator. So that's what I found. I found that one is a more structured process, and the other one is a little bit more open-ended, kind of like talking story. The benefits that I found with adjournments are you get things done. Once the decision is made, the decision is made. But the negative is it's combative, and someone ends up kind of losing more than the other person. Where in mediation, it seems to be a collaboration between both parties and finding a form of compromise, meaning nobody's really that happy, but nobody's actually lost that bad. So that's what I picked up from this week's reading. Guys, I know I'm a little late, but I would really appreciate any kind of feedback. Professor, I will send you an email, and please let me know if I'm really not getting this stuff. This is all new topics for me. Thank you for your time. This is Francisco Grijalva. God bless.